the least place that you'd ever think. It's in the kitchen. That's where the front lines are.
Joff, how did you find carnivore?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me back on, Dave. I've actually been on your channel 2 years ago, I believe, even till this, not this day, but around this time of the year. So exactly about 2 years, we had a chat about, when I started carnivore, and really, my journey to carnivore began in 2021. So this was about 3 years ago. I discovered the low carb ketogenic diets first, and I was introduced by a colleague of mine. I thought this is a bit crazy, a bit far fetched. Carbohydrates are an essential nutrient. That's what we've been told, and I found it hard to crack that barrier up until one day I just decided to give it a go. I was like, no, let's try this, because at that point in my life, I was reaching my 30s. I was unwell, metabolically. I was obese. Um, just to give a bit of statistics on my body composition at the time, I was 100 kilos. I'm about 165 centimeters, or 5'4". So a very short fella, quite round in the tummy. And I had a bunch of metabolic issues that included, high blood pressure. I was actually showing signs and symptoms of heart disease before I was 30. So, chest pain, palpitations, shortness of breath on exertion. And I was just ready to give anything a try, because throughout my 20s, I've been trying to find out success in my health. I guess you could say my health progressively got worse uh, with whatever lifestyle I was living at that time. And so the carnivore diet, sorry, the let's go back a bit. The low carb keto diet at that time sounded extreme to me. Now, a bit of background as well. I should mention I'm a registered nurse. I work in healthcare, and I have as a lot of people do, have a history of many of the chronic diseases that run through my family: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, liver, kidney issues, all of that I had in my family. So the low carb diet, I gave it a go, and I got a fair bit of success in terms of weight loss. I lost the weight. I lost, let's say, around 5 to 10 kilos within a few weeks to a month. And just naturally, the carnivore diet started popping up in the news feeds, in social media. And I thought, this is interesting. A diet which contains no carbohydrates, that contains no fiber and no vegetables. This was crazy. Now I thought, this is drawing the line. Dr. Paul Mason, who the hell is this guy telling us that we should be eating this way? Dr. Chapey's telling us that plants are trying to kill me, and this buff, bodybuilding looking doctor from America, Dr. Sean Baker, like he's gone insane. And then one day I decided to just, again, a switch just came on. Like, why don't I just give this a go? And I know exactly the day I consciously made that decision, because it was like my daughter's birthday, and the day that my daughter was born, actually. And I remember, yep, I'm going to give it a go. I was at a car park ordering a burger. I'm just going to have the patties. And then I realized, hang on a second, how am I going to do this? Let's plan out, what sort of foods I need to take out of my diet. Well, there wasn't really much in my menu that I needed to remove, because I was already on low carb keto. And who likes vegetables? Who truly likes vegetables? I know I didn't. So I said, no, this is easy. I just need to cut out about 10 foods, and I'm carnivore. And then from there, the gears switched really fast. I experienced the drastic weight loss. I experienced this huge hit of mental clarity that I thought I had on keto, but man, carnivore was different. It was a different ball game. Like, you felt like you were Superman. I started to not feel as hungry. I was more satiated. I actually felt like I didn't need to eat as much. Like what was going on? I cut out the rest of the plants and the low carb stuff, but I still feel really full and satiated. The heart disease symptoms and signs that I mentioned all gone within about a month. My blood pressure normalized. I was off my tablets, and I knew I hit jackpot. So I kept going for about a year. And in that year's time, I lost 40 kilos or almost close to it. As I mentioned, all of the cardiovascular disease symptoms I've not experienced since. So it's been, you know, over over 3 years now that I've not had any chest pain, no shortness of breath, no palpitations, and blood pressure has been normalized. The gut function thing. Now, people say, oh, well, your gut inflammation heals when you go on carnivore. I didn't realize I had a gut issue until I went on carnivore because I thought it was normal to go to the toilet 3, 4 times a day. I thought, dropping massive turds, that's a normal thing. But hey, when you go on carnivore, you realize was not normal. That was your gut, working overdrive trying to push out all the crap that you've been eating. And, you just feel like your gut is somehow just reset. It's very hard to explain, but you just feel like, oh, this is how your body's supposed to work. You're supposed to eat, you absorb it, and waste is, waste. That's it. And what else did I experience, Dave? I had eczema, childhood eczema, for a very long time. That all went away, or I should say, it improved significantly. Um, hay fever, or seasonal allergies. That's no longer been a thing for the last 3 years. But I think for me, the most important thing was my mental health because like I said, most of my 20s, I've tried to hit jackpot. I've tried to find the answer to my health. I wanted to, be an example as a registered nurse, and promote a healthy lifestyle. I wasn't achieving that, and the health issues took a toll on my mental health. I did fall into a bit of a slump where I was very depressed. I was anxious. I had panic attacks. And at one stage, at, I would say the lowest of lows, I had, I forgot what the term, what it's called, where you just don't want to leave the house. And you have this fear of going out in public. Agoraphobia, I think. I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah, I think it's agoraphobia. I always get mixed up with the phobias, but I think that one's right. Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm. And so that, along with the mental clarity, just vanished. And I think to me, that was one of the most important things that I got out of this experience going carnivore was that mental clarity. And so I had huge benefits. I would say the carnivore diet changed my life for the better. And now I'm at a stage of my life where I need to pay this forward and help others do the same. And so that's where I'm at right now, Dave. That's what I've experienced.
Nice. So I'm interested, how much of your job as a registered nurse contributed to the health problems that you had, in as far as I know when I've had kind of jobs with irregular schedules and stuff, that contributed a lot to overeating and eating the wrong things a lot. And also,
Mm-hmm.
how did that contribute to maybe skepticism about carnivore in the first place?
Okay, so let's start with the skepticism. I touched on the carbohydrates part because, as it's been a long time since I've worked as a nurse, and I sort of had to go back to my studies and remember a couple of things. But one of the things that stuck was carbohydrates are essential. You know that's your main fuel source that you need for energy and also for your brain power. So that was a hard one to break at first, and it really was desperation. That's what I would say just got me over that barrier real quick. I'm seeing other people do it. I can see that cutting out carbohydrates has helped other people, so I'm going to give it a go. But going carnivore when I've totally cut it off, I just knew straight away. Nah, debunked. Like you can't deny this. It is debunked.
You can't argue with your body, right?
No, no, not at all. Like we're talking no carbohydrate source foods. Okay, the stuff that is supposed to provide you with the energy and the brain power that you need. I had that much in my diet, and I've had that much for a very long time now. So that that was easily remedied. I snapped out of that spell really quick. The next one was cholesterol. Now, being an 18-year-old, so this is going back a bit now. I was 18 and I was told by my GP I had my first ever blood test done to get into it was part of the mandatory things that you needed to do to work in hospitals as a student. Had my blood test done, and along with that, they tested my cholesterol, and that was shoop. I said, "Uh oh, you've got a family history of heart disease. Let's do something about this quick." I mean, you're only 18, so from that get go, I was very cholesterol's a bad thing. I need to watch out. Um, but as you sort of start digging deeper into cholesterol, it first started off with cholesterol is not just what you've heard. You've heard of this as a the bad molecule that blocks your heart, but it's also an essential nutrient. And so when I remember, you know, skimming through the information, searching that I was doing, and cholesterol. Yeah, that's right. I remember that from nursing. I remember that from my anatomy physiology class. It's very important, but it still blocks your arteries, right? Well, I started, and again, the YouTube searches and these people started popping up. Dr. Paul Mason saying cholesterol isn't what you think it is, and then you met this funny bald fella with a teddy bear. This guy who's really drilling it, and honestly, Bart is one of my biggest inspirations, and he really highlighted to me the the make or break. Okay, this is obviously not a problem. And so after watching a few videos um, from the people I've just mentioned, I thought, all right, I think I feel a little bit, more comfortable in going carnivore. So that was that. I did my research, my self education, and that really broke me out of my shell a bit. Now, stuff that contributed to my ill health or the downward progression of my health throughout my 20s, I'm not just going to point it out at my job because I love my job. I love working as a nurse, and I knew what I signed up for. All right, the shift work was going to be there. That's obviously going to take a toll on my health, but I knew what I signed up for, and I still know that it's not doing me any good. But there are ways to work around that. But it certainly didn't help. The other thing that didn't help, and again, something that I signed up for, was the stress. It's a very stressful environment. Now, I know you, Dave, will understand, and I know that many others do understand as well, that the healthcare setting is a stressful environment from a consumer point of view. As a healthcare worker point of view, the stress levels are through the roof. I think you'd have to be blind or ignorant to not know that there's a shortage of healthcare workers everywhere around the world, and that we need healthcare workers. The shortage is real. The health diseases, the chronic health disease and epidemics are real. That puts a bigger strain on the workload. And so physically, mentally, emotionally, it all takes a toll. And so what I've had to do was to find I've had to use coping mechanisms. I've had to try and, you know, find ways on how to cope with the stress. And food was a huge part. And when you work as a nurse, it is, uh, you know, it's everywhere. You've got patients that provide you with their thank yous and their gifts, which very well thought and very well appreciated. But a lot of the times it's your sweets and desserts, so that was always present. Um, After a night shift, it was just so convenient to stop by McDonald's, get myself a triple cheeseburger with large Coke, extra fries, and a sundae. That was a really good way to self-soothe. And yeah, that those were a lot of the struggles that I feel like I've experienced, and I know I'm not the only one. I know that other people do the same. They other healthcare workers, whether you're a nurse, doctor, pharmacist, whatever you are, I know that there are a lot of people out there that use food to self-soothe.
So, I mean, your story should give hope to a lot of people that, especially with the CVD related issues like palpitations
Hmm.
and other pain and that kind of thing, that
Mm.
it's not fat that's causing that. It's the overall diet, and if you fix your diet, there's a way out of these things, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And here's where I'm at right now, Dave. I've seen it work on myself. I've seen how powerful lifestyle, nutrition, exercise. I've seen it all. I've seen the benefits in me. I've also seen it in others, not just one or two, hundreds, thousands at this stage, and I'm pretty certain that number is reaching the millions right now. People are healing worldwide through lifestyle changes. Carnivore is one of them, a large one. I would definitely say. Now, being a healthcare worker, as someone who's committed themselves to help people improve their health, it's very hard for me to turn a blind eye with this. It's hard. And honestly, at first it was bittersweet because I could see where, after that first year, I got so excited. I got on social media. I started telling, this is how much weight I lost, and I did this. And the eyes and the ears and what? That's what you did? That was a bit of an eye opener to me. And social media isn't a kind place either. You would know that, Dave. Yeah, it's not a kind place. But how could I turn a blind eye to this? There's just so many stories. And Dave, it's thanks to people like you who share these stories on your platform that, you know, it's honestly inspired me to like really somehow push this message however way I can. And so that's been my aim for the last 2, 3 years because I have come to the mindset that healthcare is going to change. It's changing already, big time. I used to consider, the front lines as, the nurses, the doctors, the paramedics that treat the patients that come into the clinics, the hospitals, the wards, people that come in sick. But that's not where the front lines are, I think. they've moved. I think the front lines have moved to somewhere where the least place that you'd ever think. It's in the kitchen. That's where the front lines are. It's in your drive to work. It's in your walk. It's the stuff that you do every day. And so, I no longer consider my job as a nurse the front lines. We've got to really target people's lifestyles if we want to be at the front of healthcare. So that's what I want to do in social media. I want to promote that it can be done. It doesn't have to be with carnivore. It really doesn't. It could be the most basic things, but lifestyle change is definitely healthcare to me.
Yeah. I think one of the, like, taking this away from carnivore or any other, like, a particular thing, just the one thing that I wish could be a message that we could get across to people is you don't need to spend 6 hours on a treadmill every day. You need
No.
to put the soft drink down. You need to put the Gatorade down. You need to put the bananas and all this kind of thing down, and just eat a diet which is actually going to nourish your body. And then if you still feel you need to do the exercise, yeah, go and do it. But
Hmm.
get off the treadmill and fix your diet first.
Yeah. Absolutely. It starts with the little things and these small steps. It all accumulates towards, that bigger lifestyle change. And I like, you know, that you mentioned exercise because that's a huge part. That's been a huge part of society for a long time. There's a huge culture on exercise and this notion that you've got to burn off calories and work harder. But we both know that you don't need to burn off calories or, excuse me, work hard just to maintain a physique or body composition that you want. It's easy. It can easily be done by the little steps in life, and it's probably going to be a lot more efficient when if you work on those little things. Like think about it. People spend thousands of dollars on gym memberships a year. They spend. They're happy to spend that as well. Oh, I'm going to the gym with my friends. We get to see each other and socialize. So that's become the culture and the norm. Um, oh yeah, this new shake that everyone's been taking. Oh, it's such a part of the healthcare image. These weight loss shakes, shaking them about and walking to work, chugging them down. These 6 liter gallons of water. But it doesn't really need to be that difficult. Clean out your pantry. That's a good start.
Definitely. And just on your comment there about the gym, like people wanting to go there and meet their friends or whatever, what that reminds me of something Anthony Fayez said to me one time. And it's like, if you're going to the gym to enjoy yourself or to socialize, you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't enjoy going to the gym. If you enjoy going to the gym, that's like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, totally
Mm.
agree. I think that's you know, uh, a, a pretty good message to get out there. You're supposed to hate it.
Right, because it's work. You don't enjoy going to your 9 to 5 or, whatever your
Yeah.
job is. You don't enjoy doing that, right? Because it's work.
Mm-mm.
It's designed to achieve a particular purpose. So, yeah, I mean, the gym's
Mm-mm.
right. But, so diet really is the most important thing. Um, for you, how has it been over the last few years? Like, how have you been eating? Is it 2 meals a day?
Right now, it's one meal a day, and for the most part of my carnivore journey, it's been one meal a day. I eat at the same time every single day, so that's another thing. I talked to this on another podcast recently. A big tip for how healthcare work or anyone who does shift work, basically, eating OMAD or one meal a day has helped with everything in in doing night shifts and your circadian rhythms. It really helps. So I eat regardless of what shift I'm doing. I eat at midday. I've been doing that for the last 2-ish years, and it really helps. Really helps.
So, for someone watching this that hasn't tried doing carnivore or any other kind of ketogenic diet, they might be thinking, this is ridiculous. How can you only eat one time a day? Like, I can't eat less than one time every 2 hours, or I'm gagging for food. Like, how is this possible? How would you address that?
Look, I'll just say this: I'm not here to give any sort of expert medical or nutritional advice. From my understanding, is that when you eat foods that are nutrient dense and that your body utilizes at its maximal potential, you are going to feel full and you are not going to feel like you need to eat every couple of hours. And that's the problem with carbohydrates, I think, is, the trade-off of it being so easily and readily available and being very nice and delicious comes at the cost of, well, you're going to have to eat in the next few hours or next hour or so. And then you start running into issues. But I think, for me personally, this is the way that I think we were designed to eat. If you think about our evolution, or if you don't want to use that term, maybe our history as human beings, we would have gone through many periods where we just did not have the food source available. And so we needed to fast. And so that's another thing. Fasting, I think that's a very important part of our human biology as well. Yeah, does that sort of answer the question, Dave?
Yeah, and it just kind of prompts me to think about another point. Like, if we were designed to eat carbohydrates and actually feel hungry all the time, it would kind of mean that we're in some ways broken because, as you said, like, over history, we we haven't had ready access to prepackaged foods. So you mean like we didn't live properly as a species until big food became a one of the biggest industries in the world, you know?
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's where a huge part of the problem is. People think that we've got a lot of malnourishment out there, which is true. I think a lot of people are malnourished, not because we don't have enough food to go around. We've got food, we've got a surplus of food actually, but none of it is appropriate. It's not appropriate to eat. Yeah, I think that's really where we've got such a big problem.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like saying, "Why are you hungry? We got a surplus of cardboard." And it's like, "Well, yeah, but I'm not meant to eat that, right?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I guess, look, I think people really have to be opened up to that idea, and it's hard because no one likes being told what to do. Yeah, and I think we've learned that quite recently, if you get what I'm saying. Um, but on when people start to realize and see for themselves without being told this is what you need to do, the gears start to click. It really does.
Yeah. So you're eating only one meal a day.
Hmm.
You're eating carnivore. What do your family and friends think of this?
Okay, so it's different now than it was because they all know me as a carnivore guy now, so it's not like a new thing. But when I first started, as I mentioned, when I kind of, not that I avoided people for the first few months, but I tried not to bring it up until people started to actually like. It's just gonna. I couldn't hide it. Like, people saw me and like, man, you are losing a lot of weight. I actually get this a lot. are you okay? Like, are you all right? Do you need to see a doctor? And be like, no, 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 fine. This is intentional. Um, but yes, initially when people found out, most of it was positive. A lot of people were just happy and stoked because if you saw photos of me back in the days, I was not a very well person, and people knew that. I think, and when I started to, become a bit more vocal, started telling people what it is that I'm doing, it got some eyes, I got some eyebrows, and I got some. But I think the more consistent I was with the message, I think people got it. And actually, I've it started off with you know a bit of curiosity, and then I've actually had people come and ask me more about it, and then I've had more friends and family saying I'm going to give it a go. So that number started to grow, and so I started to get I got happy. I said, "Oh yes, yes, I can see people are starting to do it." And so actually, most of the people that I know personally who are on carnivore, like in real life, are my colleagues. These are healthcare professionals, and that number has just grown. So there is hope, Dave. This is what I'm saying. I think healthcare is changing, and people are realizing that I can actually fix my problems going down this route, and so it's starting to become easier. I go to these parties and events, and I see a few friends that have gone carnivore. I see them not going for the rice or going for the vegetables, and I think yes, it's starting to people are realizing, and I think what's most important to me is my family, my immediate my immediate and my extended families are starting to realize. I've had within the past year family members trying low carb keto, and for me personally, most importantly, my mum, she tried low carb keto and it improved. It really did. So we're on a roll, and I'm staying optimistic. Um, I'm not going to be sit here and say that people are looking at my diet and think this is a bit weird. Guys, be consistent. Just the best thing you can do is lead by example. People will follow, and people will realize that hey, uh, I can actually give this a go. Another one, actually, Dave. I had a childhood friend of mine, which I'd not seen in over 20 years. He just sent me a message yesterday saying, I'm following your stuff. Been watching you. I didn't know that he's watching my stuff, but I'm convinced about carnivore. I thought, oh shit, who is this guy again? I'm like, oh yeah, he's a childhood friend. And I thought, again, lead by example. Yes, people are going to get sick. Oh yeah, you might think people are getting sick of you saying the same things over and over again, but I think that's the only way you've got to go. That's how I think we need to deliver healthcare. Is to do it by start with yourself.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And this really is the only way this is going to spread is from a grassroots movement. No
Mm.
one in big food or big pharma is going to go, "Oh, we got it wrong. That's right. We should have been eating meat." Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry. Someone wrote the numbers backwards 40 years ago. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
so can you talk a little bit about the coaching you're doing now?
Mm. Yeah. So it's been almost a year. I have taken on this new journey or avenue uh, in pursuit to being in the front lines, and I think health coaching is one of the ways that I could do that. So I became a health coach early last year. And so what I do is I work with people that want to make lifestyle changes. And the journey so far has been surreal. I feel fulfilled because I can, I feel like I've done I want to phrase this correctly. I feel like people have really benefited from this. I've never seen people in my over decades decade year experience as a registered nurse. I've never seen people being taken off diabetes medications. I've never seen blood sugars lowered and controlled consistently for months and months. And I got to see that with lifestyle change. And the best part is I haven't done a damn thing. I haven't intervened. That's the beauty of it. It's up to the individual. I'm here as someone to help guide you there, but you're the one who's doing the interventions. You're the one that's going out and picking out the right foods to fill your pantry or your fridge with. That's powerful. That's so powerful.
Yeah. It's awesome to see that, and then these big businesses like Weight Watchers, like how many commercials did you ever see of someone from Weight Watchers going, all these people reverse their type 2 diabetes?
Yeah, yeah. They are, and then probably months or years later down the line, newsflash. This is what the person turned out like. No, you never see that. I've never seen that in healthcare. I've never seen someone reverse fatty liver until I heard stories from people on your channel and then seeing it in other clients. To me, that was a powerful motivator in saying that I'm this is what I need to do. It's a sense of fulfillment that it's just hard to explain. So I've been working with clients one to one. I've been doing group coaching, and really, it's been such a joy. And right now, the target people that I'm trying to reach are the healthcare workers because I think, like I mentioned to you, uh, healthcare changes with the individuals with themselves, but healthcare workers in general, they've got sort of this trust that's built around just, by virtue of having that title of, being a nurse or a doctor or whatnot. And so people have trust in them. And once healthcare workers start to see how much impact lifestyle makes in their health, I think that's a powerful thing to take forward because it's hard to turn back from that and to just go on about and work in healthcare just thinking I'll do the same things over and over again. No, I can lead by example now. And so that's what I'm trying to, I guess, really put out there and trying to reach uh, people that I want to help. It's the healthcare workers. So that's what my goals are currently.
So, how can people reach out to you regarding coaching or find you on social media?
Yeah. So my social media is very easy. It's Health Coach Joff, as you can see there on the screen, and I am on Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on YouTube. Where else? I think that's it. Yeah. I've also got a website under healthcoachjoff.com.au if people want to go there. But I'm easily found, guys. I try to be as loud as I can.
No worries. And you also do coaching online?
I do, yes. So I most of my stuff is online. A
Mm.
few people that I know personally, I can obviously coach them, uh, in person. But all of my coaching is done online. Correct.
No worries. Well, I'll link to all your socials and the website in the show notes. Thanks very much for coming back on and sharing your story, Joff. Really appreciate your time.
No, thank you, Dave. Honestly, you've been a huge inspiration and a huge part of me going down the path of what I'm doing. Seeing your channel grow and just seeing the amount of people come to your channel and share their stories you know, um, that's again powerful. Hard to explain, but that's such a powerful thing you're doing.
So, Joff, how did you find? I can't say this now. Hang on, hang on. I. So, Joff, how did
Shaking
you
it.
find? Oh,
Sorry. Sorry. I'm just getting myself ready.
all right. So, Joff, how did you? So